And good evening, everyone. Hello to everyone out there in the expedition and also in Twitchland. I am Commander Yannick, and we are here in the Tycho Brahe Nebula, in the sort of northwest region, approximately, of the Elite Galaxy. So I adjust my image very slightly. But here we are also in front of a lovely set of water geysers, however you wish to pronounce them. Sort of hovering around and doing my bit of scientific exploration for the day. Hope you're all doing well. But I might as well get straight on with today's talk. I will return to the cockpit first. So this is a nice view of the situation. Here we are in a canyon in the middle of nowhere with night vision on. I'll just take it off for better effect. Here we go. Yeah, this waypoint is particularly named after the third incarnation of Elite, otherwise known as Frontier First Encounters. And that's a particularly sort of interesting. Do apologise for this slight technical difficulty. Yeah, this is the third incarnation of Elite Frontier First Encounters, but it is the sequel to Elite 2 Frontier, and it came out a couple of years afterwards in 1995. Ultimately, it was a very similar game, set about 50 years after the second installation in the year 3250, and has many of the same ships. In a way, it is actually almost like a sort of data disk that was known at the time. These days, it would be just called a straight upgrade or a DLC. And yeah, it was a very similar thing. It was, just a slight upgrade in some ways. Some people consider it a slight downgrade in various departments. Weirdly enough, actually, when it first came out, there was a very similar situation to what happened when Odyssey was released recently in Elite Dangerous, and that Frontier was the first ever game, but as a company. But they actually managed to release it full of bugs because I think one of the investors made them release it, or pressure on them, I should say, to release it earlier than they originally planned to do so. Now, that's somewhat worrying, really, that. But, history often repeats itself, and in this case, it most certainly did. But in those days, having a bugged game was far more difficult to remedy than at present. Because obviously, pre-internet, there was no way you could sort of download new updates, patches immediately and do it on the fly. But you had to. I remember at the time I actually had bought the game pretty much in the first week of release, and you were given another sort of floppy disk as the patch, essentially. And you had to I think write off to Frontier to get it, or I can't remember the exact method, but it was very old school and very typical of the way that things sort of ran before the internet was a thing. Yeah, I do apologise for the technical problems I've been having, but it should be okay now. Yeah, that's more like it. Right, cool. This is the box, the literally first ever title by Frontier Developments. I think the company couldn't have been more than about 20 or 30 people at this point. I'm not even sure it was actually that big. Oh, you could get the FFE patch over the internet, Mac Winston is saying. Yeah, this is the thing, it's like at that time so few people had the internet. Mac is saying that not many people had the internet, he was at uni and downloaded it. Yeah, at the time I was still in secondary school, high school, to those of you in North America. We did have connections to the internet at this point, but to say it was primitive was an understatement. We spent most of the time actually looking on the internet for sort of Deep Space Nine related fan sites, which there were quite a few of those out there. Yeah, I think majority of people wouldn't have actually got their patches via the internet, though. Maybe about a couple of % probably did. Yeah, no, you are correct in that regard, but it wasn't an online game. I mean, technically speaking, actually, Elite Dangerous wasn't supposed to be an online MMO either. It was actually supposed to be, as far as we understand, a sort of single player game, but it got rolled into being an MMO. And I think there was actually some kind of legal case over this. I'm assuming it was settled out of court because we heard no more about it. But some of the early Kickstarter people got quite angry about this because they felt they'd been misled. Oh yeah, it's interesting. Max also saying that alt.fan.elite kept the odd person thinking it was the fans of Elite modelling agency and they were sorely disappointed. Well, I'm sure they would be. It's modelling of a different kind. But yeah, modelling stars and planets and ships instead. Anywho, continuing. Yeah, this was the PC version, which is what I had at the time, even though mine came on a CD-ROM. But yeah, it only had the sort of 3 discs in the standard format. But the cool thing about this, which I'm going to point out, is the fact that like Elite 2, you actually had a storybook or a couple of storybooks, essentially, and also with various tales set in the Elite universe. This is a tradition, say, carried on from Elite 2, which was nice because these sort of short stories were sort of quite entertaining, really, and sort of added to the greater lore of the Elite universe. I mean, yeah, First Encounters was a decent game once it was patched. In many ways, it was quite rushed, but it ended up being fairly nice, actually. And Max also saying in the chat, remember the really dodgy full motion videos and really ropey acting? Yeah, I switched those off pretty quickly. There were these really primitive bits of like early video. In those days they called them full motion video clips. We're talking about like a couple of seconds at most. The resolution was really terrible, and it was full of all kinds of graininess, and you know, it was a very, very early attempt at doing some kind of, you know, basically when you would go to, like, I'll show this in a second, but the bulletin board, as they called it, was basically like the computer when you actually go into a station and you know, log into the station computer. But yeah, I'll show that in a second. Right. Now, this is the first image I'm going to show you of the actual in-game graphics. So, because unfortunately, because I wasn't available for the one I was supposed to talk about, the meetup I was supposed to talk about, Frontier Elite 2, in some ways I'm kind of rolling that one into this because they're quite similar games and were produced in a very similar era. Have a lot of code in common as well, but and a lot of ships. So this kind of picture it's fairly similar to the way Elite 2 looks. And I think the planetary tech was kind of different. Again, there were some sort of spooky similarities between this and Odyssey. The planet tech changed all of a sudden. I wouldn't say it was necessarily that controversial in itself at the time. It was just a different way of modelling. Yeah, that's... I think the ship you're looking at is actually an Adder. The present Adder looks fairly different, but you know, it's obviously you see like the labels of Mercury and Earth in the background near the Mikhail Gorbachev starport in orbit. Yeah, Mac is also saying in chat FFE was forced to be published by GameTech before it was ready. Oh, that was it. It was GameTech. That's why Frontier sued GameTech, the publisher. Yeah, it's never good when a third party is actually trying to like force the hand of a company to release a game that's not actually ready. Yeah, no, exactly. Unfortunately, the same mistake did seem to be sort of made later on with Odyssey, and it's like, well, yeah, some of us do remember this. It's a bit sad, really. Odyssey should never have come out when it did. It should have waited probably about a year before releasing it. I know the pandemic made things complicated, but I think people would have waited. Yeah. Logan is also saying in chat the full motion video, brief bits of full motion video that you'd see on the old PS1. Yeah, that's true. I think it was even substandard compared to that, to be honest. I mean, by the sounds of full motion video at the time, it was kind of badly done. But yeah, it's Mac is also pointing out that FFE and FE2, Elite 3 and Elite 2 respectively, ships were pretty close to Elite 1984 ships in shape. That's true. Yeah, they were very similar. The textures were different, obviously. 16-bit versus 8-bit computers. I mean, this is the thing, is that for those of you who weren't alive at the time or were very, very young, the obviously 8-bit consoles and computers were sort of even though they could do some like interesting graphics, there was mainly sort of large polygons and what have you, like Elite 1 is the best thing they could generate. But the 16-bit computer was such a huge leap overnight. You could have like a much bigger color palette and actual textures rather than just polygons that happen to be colored at best. Yeah, that's true. We have some people who obviously still in the chat who are very well versed in Elite 1, 2, and 3. I must admit, say Elite 1 was before my time, but I do know about it in a sort of retrospective way. But Elite 2 and 3 are near the beginning of my sort of gaming life, as it were. So yeah, continuing on. This is interesting. At the moment, these textures look really bad, but and a student could probably do a better job these days. But at the time, this was considered to be the cutting edge of 16-bit textures, really. I mean, technically speaking, these are actually slightly better than Frontier Elite 2, but at the same time, not sure they actually looked better. But it's interesting, though. This is, I think, from Alioth, and is it Wicker's World? Yeah, I think so. Again, this is like an Earth-like world that you found earlier in the game. As you can tell that planetary generation is getting better. You can see the atmospheric effect, and yeah, you do have a certain amount of colours in it, which is it's not too bad actually. This is from the system map. As you can see, this is an orrery map. This is the weird thing about Elite Dangerous. When it came out, it didn't have an orrery map, though Elite 2 and 3 did. It wasn't that hard to do it. It's just for some reason it was overlooked. But yeah, you can see on the top right-hand corner of the screen there's that green arc, which is the orbital path of Dublin Citadel space station. But yeah, as Logan's pointing out, for its era, it was not bad at all. It was extremely good for its era. I mean, Elites 2 and 3 I thought were great games, and I played many thousands of hours in them. It's always the way with any kind of older technology, though, isn't it? It always looks, at the time, it's like, did we play so many hundreds or thousands of hours with that? And I think, yeah, it was fun, though. Okay, this is the, say, they call it the bulletin board. That's more like an old sort of early internet term as well, when you'd actually log in to, basically a website that was a bulletin board, which was essentially like an electronic sort of service board with very almost totally text, maybe the odd picture here and there, but it was mostly just a sort of text function. But that's why it's sort of called that rather than just a station computer. But in many ways, it's actually not changed all that much apart from the graphics to now. As in, like, you've got a series of missions that you can apply for. You've got the various black market goods bought and sold at the top. You've got the little newspapers, though, which are like an in-game newspaper. It didn't have like more than a year or two's worth of stories in them. They were updated like once a month. So I thought it was quite interesting. It's like, I think one of them was actually called, well, it wasn't Galnet, but it was like Galactic News or Random Galactic Gossip. And here we come to the ships. Mac will love this bit. This isn't actually my graphic, but I think some of the scale, I'm not 100% sure, but these are approximately, some of them are to scale, some of them are not. I mean, the Anaconda was not bigger than the Boa, let's put it that way, but they're all interesting. I would like the Boa freighter to be in Elite now, but it's not. Okay, yeah, see, the Imperial Courier, very different ship to the one it is now. Yeah, the ones on the right, Puma, Constrictor, Lion, are all kinds of various transporters. Yeah, Mac was saying they wish they'd bring back random intergalactic gossip. Well, they could, and they probably should do. I'd like it. It would be fun. And the second series of... So this is not every single ship in the game, but it's the majority of them. Yeah, some of them are recognisable. I mean, like the Python was always a wedge shape, and it's still a wedge shape here. The Panther Clipper is one of the most asked for ships, I think, from Elite fans generally, and that's what it looked like. It was the biggest ship that you could get in Elite 2 or 3. I thought the Tiger Trader was quite a fun ship, because it was like a stepping stone to bigger ones, but could take, quite a lot in its own way. Yeah, and we've got obviously a lot of spacecraft that we recognise now and have been in like every version of Elite pretty much. And we've got obviously the classic Cobras. You also see the Cobra Mark 1 there as well, which is a smaller ship. But again, much cheaper to buy actually than the Cobra Mark 3. Part of the lore was the Cobra Mark 2 was a thing, but it had like severe design flaws that it basically like melted the hull when you got up to throttle. So it was like it didn't last very long. Obviously, you've got the Adder Viper. It's called Viper Defense Craft, but it's basically Viper 1. Yeah, obviously the old Asp Explorer, which we all know and love. Funny, the crate is called the Crate Assault Craft in this, but obviously this is the Crate Mark II that we know now. So it's like the sort of second era of those, I suppose. The small fighters are quite interesting because obviously we have like ship launch fighters now, but one of the few that have survived to the present. I mean, I suppose you could call the Sidewinder kind of a fighter, but it's that kind of small ship, isn't it? But yeah, the Eagle, you've got Eagle Mark 1, 2, and 3 here. For some reason, the 3 was only actually available in the Empire, if I remember correctly. Don't know why, it just was, but maybe that's what the Eye Eagle is now, the Imperial Eagle. But yeah, there is no Eagle Mark 2 in the present version of Elite, so make of that what you will. The interplanetary shuttle there is just completely pointless. It didn't really do anything. It had no shields, no atmospheric shields. Because this, you had to have an atmospheric shield to enter a planetary atmosphere. If you didn't, you'd just burn up. Mac is saying in chat, I don't know why people are obsessed with the Panther Clipper. It's a giant box with the speed and movability of a sloth and feeling particularly slothful. Yeah, that's not wrong. It was a very big ship. In some ways, it's like the analogue of what the T9 is now. The Type 9 is similarly just giant and sluggish. Maybe that's the idea, that the Panther was like superseded by the Type 9. But yeah, I mean, I quite like the Panther. You could, just fill it full of stuff and get, many, many millions in profit off the back of that. I think trading off, surprisingly, was a lot simpler, but the whole economic system was much more simple in that incarnation of Elite. Actually, that's the end of my slides for today, but I will now return to the instance, and whichever one you're in, and everyone out there in Twitch land, I'm going to continue, and I will be with you in just a moment, returning back to the Elite game itself. Okay, here we go. Right, here we are. Yeah, Tycho Brahe Nebula. And in the dark. We have Logan Darklighter nearby. Excellent. Hello. Say hi to him. I know he's just been in the chat, but yeah. When you're away streaming and doing all this stuff, people have snuck up on me. Right, the idea for this particular day's race was going to be between here and the other geological signal. We did geological signal 10, and we're going to be racing to Geo9. I don't know if we've got anyone else here at the moment. Let me double check in the vicinity. You can obviously see the lovely Anaconda there, grounded. Well, grounded, landed, technically, I suppose. Yeah. It's all good. Right, we might as well have a bit of a race in this, and then maybe join Odyssey if no one joins us here, because it's otherwise going to be a bit sad. Right.
Yeah.
Greetings, hello. Right, now I can see your Anaconda.
Hello.
Cool. I said only the two of us at the moment. I'm slightly surprised. It's like, and I know, like, Odyssey gets more than us usually, but at the present they've got everyone apart from us two. I mean, what I'm thinking of doing is like maybe like racing or just cruising between here and and Geosite 9 so that we say that we've done it, because it's a nice canyon cruise anyway. And if no one turns up, we might join the Odyssey group, because otherwise we're just going to
Sure.
be the two of us. Okay.
Right.
Right. Okay, let me
Okay.
have a look.
I want to go ahead and get myself off the ground here.
Righty.
Let me get my night vision on.
Yeah, that might be a good idea, actually. If I do the same. Right. What's your top speed
Let's see here.
in this?
Let me see. I'll find out in a second here.
Okay, cool.
About 240 looks like.
Okay. We'll have a nice little cruise, I think. Yeah.
Let's see, where's number 9?
Right, 9 I've just locked onto. Oh, it's the wrong one.
Navigation, there it is. Got it.
Right. Yeah, let's get out of this particular canyon into the other one, because it's like we're at a junction in between canyons, I think. So we'll have to like get out of this one, go up a little bit. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Let's see if 9 is
I think this is the
Oh,
canyon.
9's off in that direction.
Yeah. I think this is the right canyon.
Oh, I thought it was ahead. I thought it was the other way. Okay, but no, it looks like it's this way.
Yeah, it's slightly below the horizon here because it's not a big world, but it's cool
Right,
that these
yeah.
two geosites like quite near each other.
There we go. Now I've got a nice wide avenue, and still well below the tops of the canyon there.
I'll just get an altitude. I think I've lost your signal.
Maybe we should wing up.
Probably a good idea, isn't it?
Yeah. Hold on, let's see. Let me go to... There we go. Got it.
Cool. Right. You're 14k behind me. Okay. I'm not going very fast now anyway, so I think this is the main canyon I was pointing out earlier.
Yeah. I'm boosting. I'll go ahead and catch up here pretty quick.
Cool. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I didn't expect no one to show up this week. Sorry.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking surely somebody's going to be interested in Canyon Racing Horizons, but well, okay.
Yeah, especially after last
We'll
week.
just switch over to Odyssey once we're over there.
Yeah.
There we go. I'm just a couple of 100 meters behind you now.
Yeah, no, I can see you now in the sensors. Funny enough, I was saying earlier about the difference between this and other version of Elite. One thing that both Elite 2 and 3 have that this doesn't is that you can't switch to rear view quickly. You've got to go to external camera to do that, which is not very practical. If you need to glance backwards just briefly, let's say you're in a firefight or you just want to look briefly to your rear, like you can do in any vehicle via your mirrors. But why can't you do this in the 34th century? It's insane.
Yeah, it is a kind of, last week, once, I was in the SRV, I was going up backwards up the hill.
Yeah.
And I was all of a sudden realizing, hey, I don't have a rear view mirror on this thing.
No, it's one of the kind of weird oversights. I mean, I understand when the game was first released, maybe it literally was an oversight, but now it's well, it's still not there. It's how hard can it be just to glance backwards?
Yeah. Go figure.
Yeah.
Let's see, I'm going to put myself right on 200 meters per second. There we go. Got it.
Yeah. This is going to take forever, actually, isn't it? Realistically. We'll cruise for a bit, but I don't think we should probably go all the way to... Geosite 9 because this it'll just take
Yeah,
us forever.
it's
otherwise.
200 kilometers. It'll take like
Yeah.
right.
Because I was thinking earlier, if we were racing with other people, it wouldn't have seemed such a long one. Plus, other people would have, and fighters and things would have been screaming by me by now. But yeah, it's not to worry.
Yeah, I figured out a way that if it was a circuit race, you could actually have multiple classes of ship in a race. You just count whoever is winning by whatever classes of ship are racing. So if you have like the small, and you classify it by the landing pads. If you're in a small ship,
Yeah.
that uses a small landing pad at the starport, you're racing not against the larger ships. You're racing against the smaller classes of vessel. And same thing with medium, and same thing with large. So
that would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but But the thing is, you have them all in the same race. That way, it makes it exciting because then you still have to avoid everybody in traffic, more or less. It becomes an interesting, challenging hazard.
It becomes a bit like the Le Mans 24 Hour of Space. Different categories of racer racing against each other in the same space.
Yeah. I mean, you may be racing. Maybe there's a high-end Porsche custom, racer going, but he still has to lap around the Volkswagen Beetle.
Yeah, no, that is true. That would have been fun actually. Funny enough, I was thinking of the 200-kilometer race this week because I think last week some people were saying that they thought that the 20-kilometer course was a bit too short. I suppose it is a little bit, but weirdly enough, it's like produce one for a marathon. Maybe that's what put people off. They don't want to think of it as a marathon. I don't know. The truth is, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, 20 kilometers is pretty good for a short race, but what we wound up doing is when we found out how quickly it was going by was we just turned it into a multiple lap thing where we it wasn't just a single lap there and back. You had the second and third races we were going at 5 laps per.
Yeah. No, I remember, yeah.
And that wound up working out quite well.
Hello, Sock and Pop. How's it going?
Hi.
Hello.
Howdy.
Indeed.
Yeah, we're halfway between, well, not halfway, about maybe 10% of the way between geo signals 10 and 9. So we're kind of cruising at about 200 at the moment. Yeah. You can actually see now relatively, well, not brilliantly, but it's not totally dark anymore. So you can actually see where you're going. The sun has come up
that's
over
the
the horizon.
Thing. Well, not just that, but if you look overhead, we've got the nebula too.
That as well.
In fact,
yeah.
I posted a picture of that. I posted a picture of that in images about an hour back or so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that.
Saying, it's not that it's navigable if you are careful.
Yeah.
Let me see. But yeah, I think we actually. Is that the main star on the horizon?
I think it is. Yeah, I'll double check
think
that.
it is,
But I think it is. Yeah. It's a small world after all. Yeah, it is.
Small world after all. Nice.
Yeah.
Hold on. If I just put the marker on the main star. Yep.
Okay.
There it is. Okay. Yeah.
I might as well wing Sock and Pup in as well because he's the only other
Right.
person nearby. I think Comet Born's like 400 light years away. If he gets here in time, we'll wing him in.
Right.
If not, then not too worried.
Yeah.
But yeah. I do like these old canyon cruises.
Yeah.
The more the merrier, though.
Yeah. I do kind of wish that the range away from the main ship was greater for the fighters.
Flight assist off.
If you're carrying an SLF, I wish the range was something like, maybe 50 kilometers instead of 30. I think 30 is the absolute max. Your fighter will destroy itself.
Yeah. Yeah, it does seem quite a limited range, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But then again, I wonder how much that's...
You can have a... Yeah. I think it's basically 30 kilometers is... I think they based it on what's likely to be the reasonable distance for you to be holding an actual space battle in terms of the game.
I was thinking it's the limit of
in terms of
instancing.
how far away. Oh, that's probably. Oh, you know what? You're probably right. That's actually probably more right than what I was thinking. It's probably instancing.
Yeah, that's usually the greatest limitation, I think, for Elite doing anything in groups, isn't it? It is literally the limit of instancing.
Yeah.
You know, as a rule
Right.
of thumb, as far again, this is nothing scientific about this. I mean, by the sounds of it, for group instancing, you know, Odyssey might be slightly more stable than Horizons, but not like radically so. But if it is, I do wonder how much of that is because of the fact that they simplified the surfaces with all these tiles. Maybe they've actually just got more, you know, bandwidth possibly to deal with it. I don't know. It's an interesting idea.
Yeah, I did notice the once you actually get down close to the surface of a planet, the tiling isn't really a factor as far as. I mean, you notice it once you're in. You notice it when you're in orbit sometimes that, hey, this section of the planet looks just like that one. But once you actually get down to actually flying amongst the terrain, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, I think from a bird's eye perspective, yeah, you say it's more different than if you're down amongst it. Definitely. I think for a lot of people who do have issues with Odyssey terrain, it does come down to kind of it's always at the back of your mind, isn't this is just another tile. To be fair, they have actually covered it a lot better than they used to. It's now a lot more sort of intermeshed, as it were, so you can't see it quite so easily, because it used to be really, really obvious.
Right. Yeah, I think that's something of what I was noticing is that, and it's especially, it has to do with how far above you are. I think, you really only see it if you're in orbit. And Odyssey actually can have some really varied terrain. I to the point of. Have you ever played Kerbal Space Program?
Yeah.
Kerbal Space Program actually has biomes for the main world called Kerbin, and also, technically speaking, has biomes even for worlds that don't have actual life, like the local moon. You have highlands and lowlands and all that. But if you actually take a look at the actual map of the biomes that some third-party programs can actually provide you, it's actually quite complex. Well, I was noticing once or twice in Odyssey that I was actually encountering, in one section of the world, you've got polar ice, and another section you've got just this honeycomb of canyons, and another section is plains, and another section is some kind of broken, jumbled terrain. It's this isn't universal for all Odyssey planets, but sometimes you come across. But I have noticed it a few times where I'm like going, "This is a very interesting looking. This is a very interesting world."
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt that bits of it. And I've said before, it's like I always describe my sort of views on Odyssey as being like it's more disappointing than actually terrible. I said there are bits of it, like some of the places you described and some of the sort of terrains that are sort of generated in quite a pleasing way. Yeah, there are definitely some like that. But it's like you don't see them all that often.
Yeah.
I think it's the average part of it. I mean, one of my sort of bugbears, as it were, is the sheer flatness of so many places. You've kind of got to look through a lot of planets to find anywhere that has any kind of real character to it.
Right. And especially, what's really gets disappointing is when you come across one of these Labyrinto style worlds in Horizons. It seems like invariably, whenever you switch back to Odyssey and take a look at what that planet looks like in Odyssey, it's like a cue ball by comparison, and I'm like,
the complete opposite.
absolutely,
Yeah.
You'd think that for some of the more exciting terrain planets in Horizon, they would at least attempt to keep some of that in Odyssey, but it seems like it's almost always the exact opposite.
Yeah.
And that's the disappointing part.
Yeah, that's one of the aspects I don't like about Odyssey either, to be honest. They've just completely wiped and changed the whole terrain structure of every planet.
Yeah.
And even on the system map, you could, tell what the sort of planet was from the map or the moon. If it was a Homeshi style planet, you could tell instantly.
Yeah.
But in Odyssey, you have to get real close up, like in Super Cruise, to actually be able to determine details.
Yeah. That's
I do anyway. But,
yeah. I kind of alluded to that earlier, but yeah, once you actually get down very close, it starts getting interesting. But
yeah,
you don't get the from orbit looking interesting. You have to get really down in it.
yeah. You do get almost like Homesh 2C style terrain, but it's like in certain areas of planets and
Right.
it's not as interesting as like some of the Horizon style rocky ice.
I guess I'm not certain which is more realistic. I think if you were going for more scientifically interesting, realistic, etc., probably Odyssey would be that. But this is not exactly. We're not going for realism here. I'd like to have a little bit of fantasy in the game.
Yeah. But this is
You've got enough in Odyssey.
Yeah.
I think this is the thing. It's like Odyssey in some
Thank you
respects.
for bringing it.
Cool. No, in some ways, Odyssey is more realistic, but it isn't full stop, is it? It's like, I think that sort of flattening effect is in itself unrealistic. It's gone like too far in that direction. Like I think we may have mentioned in previous sort of meets that even within the known solar system, there's definitely deeper canyons, higher mountains, more jagged mountains, etc. All kinds of terrain that Odyssey doesn't really deal with, or doesn't. If it does, it doesn't do it very well. It looks less natural, less organic than the Horizons equivalents, which is kind of weird. Because think about it, if you're designing these new sorts of tiles from scratch, well, if you're so interested in realism, why do they just not look like, ones that are out there? Because they say even if you have only the solar system to go on, it still doesn't quite work. So the sort of realism explanation is it's only partially true. We're nearly at Geosignal 9.
Odyssey, you see that on Odyssey, you see that they have done a nice tiling but they do something wrong with the set scaling. Their mountains look too steep and like stretched.
Jagged. Yeah.
If you see if you go from the bottom or from a flat area to the mountain, the curvature is strange and it's steep, and you see the patterns and the tilings are stretched upward down where they should be layers
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So that's and the other way around, they have very flat areas. They look like mud. If the scaling was very flat there, so they have some sort of mountains, and what they are doing is just scale more or less, and then it ends up like it is.
Yeah.
So it looks like. So if you have data presentation, you have a natural area of datas, and if you stretch them to see some specific parts, you do that set stretching, and it looks like that. It is natural
Yeah.
but stretched.
They set the tessellation to the max.
Yeah.
Basically.
I mean,
Kind
again,
of like if we take Mars as an example in the real world, yeah, about 80% of the world is very boring, flat, like where we landed the Viking landers. But about 10% of it is very exciting, like Olympus Mons and Valles Marineris.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
So it'd be nice if we had like something like that.
you know, this is just my impression.
I'd like to hype Olympus in this game.
I'm just landing in the bottom of the canyon and getting my SRV out because
It's steep.
we might as well have a bit of a look. I'll dismiss my ship in a second so people can land as well.
Let's see if I can get.
You might be able to get down anyway because my ship's not too massive.
Always orca in that areas.
Yeah, I'll dismiss the Orca anyway just in case.
Oh, there we go. Found a spot.
Okay, cool.
I'm just hanging around today. Will not leave my ship.
Yeah, it's good to see the water guys as geezers.
Guys and shit.
It's a beautiful animation. Right, so not the best, but it looks
Oh,
quite
yeah.
convincing. You know. What was I going to say? The thing is, with the Odyssey development, it's
Yeah.
kind of, it does make me wonder like how they came to this particular idea, because to me it's like even if you're moving the way you're constructing planets, it does look a bit half-baked. It's like they started down a particular road but then it's kind of stopped for some reason. It's like if you really want to go down that road, you've got to add a lot more different variation, different tile sets, and as we were also alluding to before, you've got to be able to scale them properly, because it just looks like it's sort of they started it but then like literally it just stopped.
You know what? Come to think of it, this kind of comes back to what we were talking about earlier, or what you were talking about earlier about Odyssey having been rushed into development. But it also speaks to me of something that has occurred with the ships themselves. Like the Anaconda is the only ship in the game that actually has a damage model.
True.
And you'd like and you think, hey, hasn't there been enough time now to add damage models to the other ships?
You would think.
Probably they probably just get into it. They probably don't spend a lot of time. They don't spend a lot of time.
Yeah.
Creating managers.
I do wonder also
Some
for,
ships like I don't know, the sidewind. I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
true.
Like on the conduit, like in scaffolding stick. Yeah, of course, like a large ship, like the conduit. But,
Yeah.
I don't know. People, they probably think people complain about the look of their ships after they've, took some damage.
I wouldn't complain at all. I'd think, that's incentive to go get repaired, and that's exactly what you should feel.
I think Zero's right. Some people would complain. This is the thing. Even if we wouldn't complain, somebody would. You know they would.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was wondering though, because there's something.
Have grown.
The thing is also some of Frontier's official
They have grown
explanations.
soft custom complaints, like
Oh yeah. I mean, I do wonder how
I
how
will
many
say
people
this,
there are.
just to go on.
Go. Sorry, you go. You first.
Oh, I was gonna say, you know, for all the kvetching and bitching we're doing here, I still love the game. I still love the damn game. I really do. I wouldn't
yeah.
care so much if I didn't love it.
I think that's most people that I know. I mean,
I don't.
it's kind of I would say that the majority of people that I know who are explorers who are still in the game exploring now, very few of them are kind of like completely hardline one way or the other. You will get people on the extremes. I would say this is not to single them out. This is just examples of people. Like I think Griff is at one end of the spectrum in terms of very like pro Odyssey, but he still will say that certain Horizon trains that he misses, etc. Then you got people like Chank who are very much the opposite, and most people are somewhere in the middle of those two. But it does seem to be that like Frontier over time have like paid less and less attention to their own customers, us really, It's like, it's a shame because I think they did used to be, not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but they used to seem to be paying attention. Like, some of the original sort of developers and all the original even management, I suppose, of this project would probably not have put such a huge upgrade to the game without actually running it by somebody else first. Like what they did originally, I think was it with, not Horizons, the one after that. What was it again? I think, the major sort of update post Horizons. I can't remember what it was called. But with that one anyway, they actually obviously like ran it by a few people, with make them sign NDAs basically, but just to get their feedback. And it's just like, well, why didn't you do that with Odyssey? Because you could have saved yourself a lot of problems here, and a lot of money probably too. And for a business angle, it makes as much sense as it does just like a straight customer service one. As in, like, you throw a lot of money at this project, but you kind of piss a lot of people off by doing so. But as you rightly say, it's like, we don't want to be like, so we're complete moaners, because we're not. This is all, we still enjoy the game, that's why we're still playing it, and it is kind of more nuanced kind of criticism. This isn't just people just toxically shooting things down. This is constructive criticism. It's like, if you want to, contact us, we could definitely help you out. But you've got to actually want to be helped out in the first place.
And there are lots of things to like about Odyssey. There really are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not least of which is just, hey, we can actually walk around places. I know. I want to be able to walk around on my own bloody ship, but hey, at least there's stations, and if you really feel like you want to, you can do it. You can have a social instance.
Yeah, I quite like that bit actually. A lot of people don't, but okay, you can't buy anything at the bar. That is a problem that everyone complains about. But I don't actually mind walking around the stations. I'm actually moderately happy. I didn't think I expected that much from it in the first place, that aspect of the game. It's just like, it's not, I can meet somebody in person, like we both walk into a bar or wherever in the station. It's like, well, that's alright, I don't mind that. It's not the best graphics I've ever seen, and it's not like some cutting edge MMO or anything, but I didn't really expect it to be sort of an FPS game, but I didn't expect it to be anyway, so...
Yeah. Right, yeah. And you can solve the whole thing with the bar easily enough. I mean, just make the whole, give us a drinking emote. Although, I gotta say, there is a curiosity that I believe I've noted before. That whole business with drinking works perfectly well on a... Whoa! Nice air there, Yannick.
Hit me.
Accidentally
I was
hit
going to
the
say
ship.
that works great on one of works great on one of the Orbis stations or rotating stations with the artificial gravity. Well, I mean spin gravity.
Yeah.
But supposedly the carriers have 0G everywhere, and yet what?
Maybe we have magnetic.
I think that's the real reason, isn't it? Yeah. But it's not really said blatantly, is it? It's sort of like, because like when you leave the ship, you don't hear like magnetic lock or magnetic boots or anything like that. And so even
well,
if
actually,
you did,
you do. The game says
you know what it is. I've actually shut it. Oh, that's probably
it. Certainly doesn't treat it. Oh, okay, yeah. But it's funny because it actually, if you look around the carrier, and there's stuff laying on the ground, like boxes, bits of paper. You've got open top containers in the bar. Hello.
Just
Copied and pasted, with whatever they had,
They thought, we've done it all now. Maybe we'll just leave it and hope no one notices.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I'm sorry, we're science fiction fans. We're going to notice.
Yeah, you have noticed the flat areas on the rotating stations and the rectangular windows on Odyssey. They spin the station to make rotational force, and then they have flat floors. How does that work? If you go half a meter aside, you have different forces.
Well, I think the public areas on the stations are small enough that I think you can get away with that.
Yeah.
You know what I would? I think you know what I'd like. I'd like to be able to take a small vehicle and drive those circular whatever roads that there are inside the open area of the station.
That's the oncoming
I read an article about circulating stations like that, and they say that's if they must be very, very, very huge, or if you simply sit down, you will get nausea. And if you have flat areas like that, it must be unbearable, because your left leg and your right leg do different things. So even on huge stations should be a problem.
I think it's
small.
I think it's less noticeable the larger the station is. Like if you get in a true O'Neill style colony, I think at that scale it's no longer really noticeable.
Yeah.
Maybe on the large stations, if you have the outer rings.
Yeah.
Those we can see.
Yeah.
We cannot move there. We are on the inner small things you can compare by the size of your ships. That's several hundred meters. That's nothing.
I think the areas that we're able to access within the station. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that even there would be a full gravity, would it? I think it'd be something like at most. I think it'd be like a one third G.
Possibly.
Yeah. And that's huge. That's a lot of force.
Yeah. It is kind
Let
of.
me see if I can get some.
So Yannick, you like my sun, or should I turn that off?
Yeah. You know what? It'd be nice. I know it's a bit of a pipe dream, but it'd be nice if they would detail out some of the other areas of a station, like the green park areas in the outer rings of some of these stations. I'd like to be able to access that.
Yeah, it'd be fun. But this is what I was sort of alluding to earlier. It's like there's the difference between like Frontier's public statements about Elite generally and the reality that we're seeing as a completely mismatched. They're always insistent that they're spending a lot of time, effort and manpower on developing it further, why does it seem like there's so many areas, even just within Odyssey itself, that aren't really connected? Like we were saying about, like in the public spaces, like you can't do simple things that you would thought would have come as standard, even to fairly sort of simple like MMOs or FPS games. So, and it's just like there's no sense of any kind of coordination. I mean, I'm not saying that Horizons is perfectly joined together, because it isn't, but at least there's some sense of like there is some kind of joined up thinking going on. But with Odyssey, it just seems to be almost you've got like separate groups, separate developer groups who are working with no coordination with each other, because it just doesn't hang together very well, and it's just a bit sad, really. But then again, it comes to the question: is I hate to sort of say this, but why make all these public statements when it's kind of obvious that they're not true? I mean, not just talking about Odyssey launch, but since then there've been quite a few things that they've been trying to allude to, that they say that there's a lot more development going on than there actually is, or if there is, why don't you say something about it? I'm not saying that you have to do absolutely everything that you said. You can change your mind, you can change priority, definitely, but their comms is just so all over the place. It's so strange. I just don't get why. It's because ultimately, even just from a pure business perspective, you have a customer base, people like ourselves, and you don't really seem to care that much about what they think of you, especially people who are like more than fly-by-night players, people who've been playing it for years and are in communities, etc. It's like, I think if you want to build a sustainable business in any area of industry, you have to really pay attention to people. I'm not saying that they should literally listen to every whim of us. I don't expect that, but it's just like these days it seems to be like almost nothing. I mean, I don't know how many of you see also Obsidian Ant's most recent video. I think a lot of people get put off by the titles of his videos and don't actually watch the videos, because they're really good still. People saying, oh, he's just shitting on whatever game, but not really.
Yeah, they are.
But that's the thing, is like, a lot of the time people just don't bother to watch the video. They just read the title and assume it's something really trolling and negative, but it's not most of the time. He's making some very good points. I think today he was talking about Star Citizen and, about like big expectations of like gaming audiences or gamers generally versus, different sorts of approaches from different companies. Like Star Citizen's even worse, far worse even than FDev's worst mistakes, to be honest. I know some people will try and defend Star Citizen, but I find it very hard to. I'm not really a Star Citizen person. I just see what other people say and the odd review from somebody, because how can you really review something properly if it's still in an alpha test? It's kind of difficult.
Yeah. And I waver a bit on, do I really like the style of the game or not? Sometimes I really do, and sometimes I'm like going, it's not. I prefer Elite Dangerous for this sort of thing. Is No Man's Sky. But you got to admit, from something that initially was a complete disaster, they have absolutely turned it around.
Oh, totally.
I'd like to see some of that for Elite Dangerous, which isn't nearly the disaster that No Man's Sky started off as. I think Frontier could be doing a lot better.
Exactly. I mean, I think the situation is still salvageable, but it's just the more time goes by without any sort of connection, because I find it very weird. Sometimes you'll see there are certain, should we say, how do I put this without sounding really rude, because I don't intend to be rude. I'm trying to be sort of balanced and as sensible as I can be.
Yeah,
by nature, I'm quite.
Still be positive,
yeah,
to a degree.
exactly.
So, yeah.
I mean, I'm quite a diplomatic person by nature, but I think sometimes, as again, Obsidian, I think pointed this out in one of his recent videos, that it was toxic positivity is in some ways almost more destructive than trolling. And it can be. I'm not saying it always is, but it can be more destructive than trolling. And there is a certain amount of toxic positivity out there as well. And that's not helping too. It's like defending things that aren't really working for like most people or a lot of people is not going to help anybody. It's not going to help the community, and it certainly won't help FDev in the long run. They'll keep losing more people. And it's like, all you can ever do is be sort of like constructively sort of criticize, and like, I don't know. It's very difficult sometimes when you deal with toxically positive sort of people, because anything you say will be turned on. They'll say, "Oh, you're just trolling," or "You're just being really negative." It's like, well, no. It's like, I don't want to be negative. I want it to be great, you know. But it's that's actually. But as you say, like, No Man's Sky is a very good example for the games industry about recovery and also about disaster management. Ooh, what's happening now? Someone hit me. I don't mind.
No, I pushed you.
Ah, okay. I hit on purpose.
I pushed you.
That's fine, that's fine. I did one. I assumed there's another SRV. Going to repair anyway, so that's fine. It's all good, it's all good.
Well, I am going to go ahead and... Whoops. There we go, there we go. I am going to go ahead and... let's see. What do you guys think about going ahead and heading over to Odyssey? See what they're
has
up to?
Sock and Pup actually got Odyssey? Because that's the only reason I would... So
I can do that.
okay, if you've got Odyssey, that's okay, because I don't want to abandon people who don't
Sorry?
have Odyssey as an option.
But that's no problem. I hate this the interface. That's all.
Okay, that's
Or-
fair enough. Because we were talking earlier
Okay.
about, because there's like literally only a small number of us, that we might go over to Odyssey today. Because yeah, it's just the numbers really, I suppose, and it makes some sense. We probably won't actually have a huge amount of time by the time we actually get there, but we might as well do it for fun. Shall I see you guys in Odyssey in about 5 minutes' time? I don't know where they're actually meeting. I'm going to have to look this up. But yeah, as long as I'm not leaving anyone behind, because that's the whole point with this.
I'm gonna have to look that up myself, but I figured that. Right. Anyway,
Okay.
I think first I'm gonna head to the carrier and dock, and then figure out where we're going.
You going to Endeavor or?
Oh,
to...
wait a minute. Actually,
Well-
no. Hold on a second, guys, before we do anything.
So
They're forming up for the
Yeah.
mass jump already. By the looks of it, I just looked in their voice
Oh,
chat.
they are.
Yeah, it's like just barely just has been saying.
Oh, well then maybe we should go ahead and do a.
We should
well, I'll
probably
tell you
do that
what.
actually. Yeah.
Why don't we
Yeah.
here in Horizons? Yeah, do a mass jump ourselves.
We might as well. I'm
We
trying to
can,
call my ship. Yeah. Recall ship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we could. We
let
can
me
still.
see here. Yeah. Let me see. Where is the? Checking the galaxy map. I wonder if the carrier is above the horizon here.
I hope so. Well,
There's Endeavor. So if I just
Endeavor is
plot
on
a
the.
course, where is it? Oh, that's a good indicator. That's a good sign.
Both are on the waypoint.
yeah.
Let me see here.
Hey.
Yes. We actually do have the. We can jump directly back to the system that has the carriers in it. It's above the horizon here.
Okay.
We can just go. We can just do a mass jump straight from the surface.
Yeah. That's often the
So
way.
from here.
From here, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll try that then. If we can dump one as the other week from like inside the canyon, that's even better. It's all good for the stream.
It's not. Unfortunately, it's not that low on the horizon. It's about
Okay, well, we'll see. Yeah.
10 degrees rather than like 5.
Okay.
So it is. We could go ahead. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, I'm mass locked here. Let's see how far up I got to get out of mass lock. There we go. Right about there. I don't think there's a canyon around here that's deep enough to really make it worthwhile for
Okay.
jumping out of a canyon.
Well, don't worry about that then. We'll just do the best we can and make it look as cool as possible.
Sure thing, and now we actually have the local star above the horizon. So we've got, and the nebula overhead. So we've got some. At least it's interesting looking.
True. Right. We target the I think that's the waypoint system. Yeah, Endeavour's still in the waypoint system, isn't it? So that should be fine. If I can actually get the
Yeah,
thing
if we
to
just
lock
target
on.
that. Yeah. Should we form up on you?
Absolutely. My computer's been very slow at the moment for some reason. But yeah, please do.
Okay.
Cool. Right.
You're about a kilometer and a half ahead and above me here, so I'm just pulling in underneath you here.
Right. I'm pointing now in the direction of the jump system now.
Right.
Yeah. We'll still have a good angle for it, I think.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I have a great idea. If everyone actually gets in position but turns 90 degrees to their left, so we're all sort of like on our sides, and then jump that way.
So like you're oriented.
You mean barrel roll 90 degrees?
Yeah,
Like what
yeah.
I'm doing right now?
Yeah, just roll yourself 90 degrees to your left. So it'd be like you'd be on your side relative to the planet, so it looks... So it's got a different angle, really. I'm just looking in the external cam now, so... Yeah.
Actually, pardon me, that's the wrong terminology. It's not barrel roll, it's aileron roll.
Yeah, it's just roll. There's no barrel about it.
We're forming up, you know.
Yeah, we can form up for mass
Forming
jump.
up to the side.
Sorry, could you repeat that? You just phased out a little bit there.
Kind of gives you... Are we forming up either side of you as well?
You can. I mean, I don't really mind the
I don't
formation.
think we specified, but we could.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I don't mind the formational shape. It's it's absolutely fine in a line either side. Ooh, I just accidentally went inside my own ship there.
Sorry.
That was quite interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I look out my
Now that's a good look, actually.
window
Yeah.
here, okay.
I can see the anaconda lined up straight.
All right.
Yeah. But as always in mass jumps, the rule of thumb is to make it look as epic as possible. And this is a good look, I can tell you.
All right.
I'm going to take some nice shots of this. This is cool, actually. Something as simple as that sometimes can make the difference, you know. Just a slightly different angle.
Yeah.
Why should it always be like in the same orientation, you know? I'm going to take another snap from the side, yeah. Okay.
I'm going to take a couple myself here.
Yep, now's a good time to take
See
any
if I
photos
can
you
get
want.
a good... Yeah.
This is the one thing, it's like being an explorer for any period of time. You develop the skill of being a photographer. Almost everyone sort of ends up having quite a good eye for shots. Yeah.
Yep, there is that. There we go.
Earlier.
Another rule of thumb, I think, for expeditions, is that even if you're not that many ships, always make it look like you've got as many ships as possible in shot. Again, it's all about making it as cool and as epic as humanly possible.
Right.
Okay, right.
Okay, I got some good ones there. All right, we got 4 people here, so
Let's
I think
jump.
we're lined up.
Yeah, at 19.
I've got the screenshots.
1935, so that's in about 20 seconds from now.
Right,
That's okay.
got it.
So spool up, everybody. Get ready to jump. Is everyone okay?
Okay, spooling up.
Okay, in 10, 9,
Just
8,
a second.
So, stand by stop. Halt the countdown. Halt the countdown. Halt. Cancel. Right. No
Okay.
worries. Okay, we'll resume again in a moment.
I'm fully spooled up.
Okay. Right, I'll start the countdown again momentarily. Right, ready to jump in.
You boost or you accelerate?
You can boost if you like. I'm not going to because I'm quite fast anyway. We'll start in 10,
Okay.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit it. I think someone overtook me. As we go.
From my perspective, you were still out in front, but it might. Yeah.
I don't know. I saw a flash to my side. I assumed that someone
Somebody told me
overtook.
boost.
Ooh. Let's have a look.
That's me.
Cool.
Say boost.
Here we are. Yeah. That's actually fun.
All right. Let's see. Endeavor. There we go. Oh, Endeavor's all the way across the other side of the system. Okay.
Oh, well. Who's this is the carrier that's here?
Well, we got Endeavor and we have Intrepidus both here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Is this another guy on the expedition?
Yeah. Oh no, he's not. No. As Intrepidus is the only other expedition carrier other than Endeavour. If there's anyone else here other than those two, it's nothing to do with us.
I think in a couple of the Waypoint systems, there's been a few other random carriers.
Well, at Beagle Point, of course, there were a whole bunch of them. You know.
Oh yeah. Of course.
I know what you mean. At some places there are, because these
I
are.
didn't know who's the other ones were.
Yeah, I think obviously some of the like a fuel rats carrier. You're not surprised. There's Erasmus's carriers also there. Again, not a surprising thing. Just as a DSSA carrier. I think, as you say, like there's all kind of random ones, but it's not so surprising, especially some of the big nebulas or the very like historical locations. So yeah, it's when you get ones in the relatively like minor nebulae, like some of those could be quite surprising. But then again, this is like a good rule of thumb for like carriers generally. Anywhere there's something interesting in the galaxy, there's usually a carrier somewhere. You know, like wherever you go, there you are. You know. Oh, it's nice though. I mean, at this particular
Tonight being pretty quiet night.
shockingly so actually, because for ages it was just me. Then Logan turned up, then Sockenpup turned up, and then your good self. So it's like, yeah, it has been a super quiet one for Horizons. Odyssey seems to be doing pretty well at the moment. And that's why we were actually, me and Logan were saying if no one else turned up, we were just going to go off to Odyssey, because it's like, well, we could just cruise around for a bit, see if anyone shows up, and you guys showed up. So that was good. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
I made it. Finally. It was a hard week.
yeah.
Done nothing. So
by the way, that
you can't say even. It was all what I have done this week.
By the way, Yannick, every time when you use the phrase "no matter where you go, there you are,"
Yeah.
I always think of Buckaroo Banzai across the 8th dimension.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's a good phrase to use though, isn't it? Because it's kind of true but kind of funny at the same time.
Yeah,
Landing complete.
but that's where I first saw it or heard it.
Funny enough, I think I heard it somewhere else. I know that's one of the places that people often quote it from, but I think I actually read it in a Star Trek book somewhere. I think it was something like...
Yeah,
the Enterprise guide to like Enterprise D or something. That was it. It was I think it was the technological manual for Enterprise D. That's actually where I first read that.
Huh. Well, I know it certainly didn't originate with Buckaroo Banzai, and I don't think it even originated with Star Trek. It's a much older phrase than that.
It probably is. I mean, I think it's an American one in origin.
I have no idea where it originally came from.
Yeah, I'm not really sure either.
Yeah.
But it is kind of interesting. This is a nice looking.
You know, it kind of reminds me. You know what? Yeah. Come to think of it, no matter where you go, there you are. It kind of reminds me of. Have you ever heard of a guy by the name of Yogi Berra? I'm not talking about the cartoon bear. I'm talking about the coach.
No.
He was actually a famous football coach.
But the Yogi Bear was the first thing that came to mind, though, to be fair. But yeah.
But he had. Yeah. Well, the thing is Yogi Bear is actually an homage and a play on words of the original guy whose name that was.
Okay.
But the thing is that he had a particular talent for having a weird turn of phrase, and I'm thinking, and I was like, all of a sudden thinking, no matter where you go, there you are, sounds like something he might have said.
It's possible, I suppose.
Kind of that sort of, it kind of makes sense, but then again, kind of doesn't.
It's one of those things. It probably is somebody like that, but it's just, as you say, it's become such a not an urban legend, but you know what I mean, such a a regular sort of phrase that it's no one's really sure where it comes from. Somebody knows out there somewhere what the origins are, but it's like one of those quiz questions, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Let's see.
This is a good look.
Here we go. Yeah. I was just looking them up on you. Here's a few examples. I just popped up on Wikipedia, and a few examples of the sort of thing he would say is, "It ain't over till it's over," and "It's deja vu all over again." You can observe a lot by watching. Yes, you can. And this is one of this one right here. It always kind of makes me smile. It's just so nonsensical. When you come to a fork in the road, take it.
It is pretty funny though. Not like you have much of a choice, but yeah.
So yeah, no matter where you go. Now, no matter where you go, there you are is not listed amongst these. But I was just saying, it sounds like one of the things.
It's plausible,
types
isn't
of things he was known for saying.
It's definitely plausible.
Yeah.
Some nice pictures of Endeavour as well.
So anyway, were we going to do any? It looks like they're still active over there on Odyssey.
Actually, look like they're actually logging off at the moment, so the number's going down.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
I mean, I was surprised how early they jumped.
I was going to do later. Lost you there.
Sorry, I lost you as well. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah, you're cutting in and out there. I might be as well. I'll tell you what. I know what I know. And refresh my voice. There we go.
Okay.
Now let's see if that works.
I can hear you okay, but...
Yeah, you're a lot clearer too. Okay, there we go. Sometimes you just got to refresh the pop out and then pop back into the voice channel. But one thing I was going to do later on today was do some more mining for Intrepidus.
Oh, yes.
Because last I checked, they were about 80%. And looked like they could still use some more tritium.
Yeah, Intrepidus is in need of some refueling, so that sounds like a good plan.
Yeah,
Originally?
I'm not.
Oh,
I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it right this second. Because it's about time for me to go check on some stuff here in real life.
Yeah.
But it is something I'm gonna go ahead and do later before dinner tonight, which for me is about 5-6 hours away.
hmm
I
think-
got my evening beer brought right now.
Intrepidus would definitely welcome the refueling,
Yeah.
though. But yeah, I mean, it's been a sort of slightly weird week,
Yeah.
and I've
got a dedicated.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah. No, go ahead. It's been a weird week.
No, that was pretty
What?
much it. It's just, and I had slightly sort of rushed things today, but it turned out okay in the end,
Oh.
I think. Yeah. But it's just one of those times, you know, you can't really do much
Yeah,
about
yeah.
it. There's nice
Yeah.
footage going with the
Hey, at
orca
least we got
following
some-
another orca. Sorry.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've got an orca, but I don't have it with me on the expedition. It's back at Colonia.
Okay.
But I've always liked the looks of those ships.
No, they are nice.
Oh, the ship kit. Just the Orca look a lot better.
I
Back
had
in just
wondered
one
about
second.
that, and I'm tempted to get it. I'd love to see what it looks like with what you could do with it. It's like I have yet to be disappointed with any of the ship kits. There's always something neat to do with them.
I like the Orca because of the view of it, and it's agile enough to have fun if you fly it. It's not like a
Mhm.
prick, and the jump range is not that bad.
It's a good all.
So I like for exploring.
Yeah, it's a good all-rounder.
Yeah.
And I think doesn't the Orca fly really cool?
Yeah. You see the Twitch, Yannick's Twitch.
I don't. Oh, today's I caught a little bit of it, but not all of it.
Okay. I'm hanging around with my Orca above Yannick's Orca, and it makes fun. It's not like an eagle, but it's not like other pricks you can fly. If they had a little bit better weapons placement, it would be a really nice ship. But they have those gun points on the bottom, and the ships you see you can fire at, because you will fire at your own body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That's ridiculous.
Well, one of the funny things I've seen is that there's a YouTuber called The Pilot, and he did a sort of Top Gear review of every ship in the game,
Mhm.
and he noticed about the Orca that, he noted the bad weapon placement, and then he also noticed, but then you don't actually need weapons, and
Yeah.
then you see footage of him just ramming other ships over and over and over.
That's the
Yeah.
thing.
We used to do
Yeah.
back in a few years ago. I remember seeing some meme videos of like people's whole tank shieldless ram orcas that were just interdicting people and just ramming them to death.
Yeah, yes. It must be an awful surprise for a pirate, either NPC or a real person. Oh, hey, this ship doesn't have any weapons. It's easy pickings. Wham, 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 wham. Okay, I'm out.
Yeah.
Well, the Orca you can get to.
and you can do that because it's agile.
Yeah,
Yeah. It speeds up to 400 something at boost, and that's not that bad.
not bad at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like the view. I dislike those ships where you sit in the back and look along all your endless ship. No, I want to see the void, the stars, the planets, not my ship.
Yeah.
I understand what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, it's a fun exploration ship for
Yeah,
all
the
those reasons.
Anaconda. Right. I love my Anaconda, but I would admit that the view is not as good as it is in some of the other ships. I like the Anaconda just because you can stuff anything in the damn thing.
Yeah.
I can take everything I could possibly, need on a.
You can stuff all modules on your one ship. Endless.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got on my Exploraconda, I've got room to put both a fighter and an SRV and repair limpets and fuel limpets for other people and self-repair. I mean, unless I purposely ram my ship straight into a star, I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh, hey, Mac. How's it going?
Yeah.
See how you're all doing.
Yeah,
Hey.
we're just sort of winding down, really, I suppose, just chatting about what we've been doing. Yeah, thanks for the commentary early on you were making, Mac, in the early part of the stream. You know, that you make some very good. You reminded me of some key facts as well, actually, that I'd temporarily forgotten.
Something about a
it was a
Machina.
long time ago.
Sorry, I don't.
Did you say you had made a Machina?
No,
What?
no. I think some of you cut out for a second there. I wasn't
Oh,
sure what
I'm
was being
sorry.
said.
No. Oh, I'm sorry. I used the wrong word anyway. What I meant to say was, did I mishear? And somebody had made a machinima with Elite Dangerous. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Not really, no.
A machinima. You look up the term. It basically, remember. Oh gosh, darn it. What's a good example? Oh, the very earliest 2 or 3 episodes of Red versus Blue, from Rooster Teeth. A machinima is when you take a game like Halo, and you make the characters do certain things that make it appear that they are interacting in ways that they don't normally in the game, and you basically kind of make an animated film out of something that normally doesn't do that. But I think in the case of Elite, you could actually reasonably make a character. You could you could have a character stand in front of a ship and do gestures and such and talk as if you're playing, as if your character is actually speaking to the camera. And that's what I meant.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
And so I thought I heard somebody yeah.
Scorpius does some of that kind of thing, although he did it pre-Odyssey by putting in his own characters into the actually, so he'd record some footage in Elite Dangerous and then put his own characters in there. I don't know what software he's using to do that.
A really good example using Elite Dangerous is the stuff that Yamix has done with his characters in the cockpits, talking about various bits that are going on, and
complaining about various things that are going on. No doubt, knowing it's Yamix.
Yeah, yes. But and then he gets quite rude with it too. With let us just say manipulating the joystick a lot.
He's known for that, basically. That's like his go-to move in his videos, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's what I meant by a machinima is what Yamix does.
Yeah. I see what you mean. I didn't realize there was a word for it, but you learn something new every day.
Yeah, I only recently found out a few months ago that was an actual term. I'd heard it before, but I thought it used to be that there was a channel called machinima,
Yeah,
and
so
I thought it
like,
just
I'd heard of
referred
the
to the channel.
Right.
Yeah, but no, it actually does refer to a particular style of game video editing.
Yeah. It's interesting because
So-
it's kind of
So,
cinematic.
Yannick, you
isn't
got
it?
Yeah,
Yannick?
yeah,
Sorry,
kinda.
sorry,
You
Sucker
got
Pop.
me?
Yeah, I
tried to
I can
change
see you.
color while boosting.
I can see you on the stream.
1, 2.
I'm,
I know. I see myself on the stream.
Sorry, your voice kept
Oh,
cutting
I
out for a
turned
second.
the stream off.
Yeah.
I have to work
Oh,
on
okay.
the stream.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, my ship's docked at the moment.
Oh,
so
are you still streaming?
I am. Yeah, I'm just doing the external camera because Sucker Pop still sort
okay.
of. No one's saying anything naughty, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I don't think my stream's going to get, what is it called again, the Frontier Developments partner anytime soon, nor am I really aiming for that. 'Cause there's a bunch of streamers that I follow, elite ones, that actually have got some kind of partner award recently, which I didn't even know was a thing, but apparently they've started something like that. But there you go.
Oh, okay. I think Ghost Giraffe is one of those that is likely to be able to do that because they do a lot of streaming.
Yeah, you've really got to be
Yannick?
like hi.
Can you, Yannick?
Hi.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you stop moving your external camera? I try to hit you.
Okay.
Let's see if I can point my ship to through your camera using the Twitch.
Okay, I'll leave it for a little while and see what happens, because you're still moving about, so that's good enough.
Okay. Yeah, it's time. And I don't see the green frame on your ship. That's just on your view, not on mine.
Fair enough. I'll keep it static as it is.
That's
Do you want me to move it very slightly, or?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I think recently, there's a bunch of different streamers I noticed have got this sort of partner status. I think Brother Sabithius was one of them. I mean, he's a genuinely great guy. He was actually one of my sort of earlier exploration companions, so, you know. Yeah, some of you may know him. He does pretty good channel, actually. He's quite fun. And
what's his name again?
Brother Sabithius.
Sebastian.
Yeah. So yeah, it's Brother Sabithius.
Oh,
I think
okay.
it is, yeah. He's he's been doing this quite a while now. Actually, he's not like a pro streamer or anything, but he's like got a very good quality channel. He could be a pro streamer actually if he wanted to, but he's got a day job, so you know it's fair enough. I think if you only not that many people earn really enough money, I think, to actually go full time with this streaming lark. But you know, nice if work if you can get it though. Stressful work if you can get it.
Oh yeah.
I think realistically, though, you probably
Found
would.
myself a.
I can see that he's trying to ram the camera. This is interesting footage. I'm basically on the stream. The camera's being rammed by the orca. I didn't realize this was possible. The actual camera angle is being rammed. Because it's a virtual camera. It's not a physical thing in the game. But it's being pushed back by Sock and Pup's orca.
See it?
I don't think it can be pushed back any further, actually. I think you've reached the limits of it now. But it kind of, you moved it back a few hundred meters.
Yeah. Like that? Like,
oh, we're moving it again. Is it moving again now? That's quite fun. It's gone dark now.
No.
Oh, I can't see anything.
No, boost. And now I was.
Ah, no, it's come back again. This is an interesting view. I'm now far behind the carrier. still on his nose. If
Never
anyone's
done that.
still watching the stream, now is a good time to actually have a quick look, because this is kind of funny. You gonna try and ram the camera
Hang on
again?
a second here. Let me see if I can.
Ram the camera.
I'm gonna have to head off.
Okay, fair enough. It's been great seeing you again. I hope you have a good one.
Yeah, even though it's been brief, came back a bit late. Still managed to catch you.
It's fair enough. I mean, I was running late as well, so yeah, don't worry at all.
Yannick, go a little bit closer to the carrier.
Okay, I will move the camera a little bit closer to you.
Looks better, I guess, for the stream.
Still going to try and ram it, aren't you?
The virtual camera.
Ooh, we got a new follower.
Move my ship.
Okay, try something now. See if you can ram the camera again.
Okay. I go slowly forward.
Thank you for the new follow, Commander. Very much appreciated. And the Orca is ramming the camera again, even though the camera is not a physical object in this game. Like the way it's reflected, you know, the planet there in the Orca. Ah, yeah.
How interesting.
Hello there, Demonic. How's it going?
So, I went.
Yeah. Are you going to try and boost against the camera? Awesome, awesome.
Yeah, I try to focus you better. Okay, that's too much. The time delay is nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm not doing anything, so leave it alone.
Yeah.
That must be in a different instance, because I just raised my ship to the deck on Endeavor, and I am not personally. I mean, I see it on the Twitch stream.
Yeah.
But I don't see an Orca out there from my point of view, on the actual up on the deck.
He's pushing it back again.
Should be I guess we could fight you.
Yeah, probably just is an instancing thing.
Yeah, I'm not touching this at all. The camera is being... Yeah, I didn't think it was possible to move a camera by the ship. Yeah. So it's not really a virtual camera at all. It's actually a cloaked camera. Because that's how you can move it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So a new secret of Elite has now been unveiled by completely by accident on stream. So that's a win, I think.
It was intended. I just want to know what happens.
Exactly. Dear FDF, we have discovered your cloaked camera. Your secret is now known.
We are exploring Elite. Dangerous.
Yeah. Elite very dangerous. Elite very suspect, possibly. Yeah, okay. I think nothing's happening again. But I can see the thrusters firing.
Oh, so camera is sus?
Yeah, I think that might be the best way of putting it. Or having a cloaked camera is a bit sus, really, isn't it? Like intelligence agency kind of level stuff there. But which power is it? You know.
Yeah.
Is it the Federation? Is it the Alliance? Is it the Imperials or some mysterious group? Can't be Azimuth, they're too incompetent. He's still trying to push the camera again. I can see the thrusters firing once more.
Yeah, no, I'm not trusting. I'm just.
Yeah, I think you may have reached the limit of where you could push it to, probably. Actually, no, it's moving again. It is moving again. I can see the I only reason I can tell this is happening because I'm saying it's like see the carriers going further into the background. So yeah, I wonder how far you can actually push it away.
Yeah.
Oh, we can try.
Yeah,
Oh.
and the carrot's now
And-
disappearing from
and
view.
go
I can't
where
see
we
it
go.
anymore. Tell me if you're actually moving forward, because I can't tell anymore because I have no frame of
I'm
reference.
moving forward with 30, 32 or something like that.
Okay. Whoa, it's gone all
Wait a
dark
minute,
now.
I stopped and I move a little bit.
Ah, it's come back
aside.
again.
Oops. No,
Okay.
I'm
Yeah, we're about maybe a few kilometers from the
worked.
carrier now, I think.
Okay. Well, it's been fun, gentlemen. I gotta go. I'm gonna go ahead and check a couple of things in real life here and make sure everything's going.
Okay.
Nobody needs me for anything,
Good to see you as well,
and I'll
Commander.
be back later on to do some mining.
Awesome. Great to see you as always, and I'll see you very soon.
All right.
Until then,
Talk
fly
to you later.
safe. Have a
Bye-bye.
good one.
Anyway, I'm gonna get some dinner as well.
Okay,
just
cool.
So I'll see you all next week.
Awesome, fly safe. I'll probably cut the stream quite soon as well, but yeah, it's been fun, everyone. I'll leave voice chat now, but yeah, thanks for everybody who's been here today. It's been a fun stream, and I'll see you in the next Waypoint, and hopefully some more interesting camera-related shenanigans will happen, or new things completely. You never stop discovering stuff in Elite. That's one of the best adverts for the game, actually. But until then, fly safe. To everyone out there in Twitch land, I'll be also wishing you a good evening, good night, or good morning, wherever you may be in the galaxy. I thank you all for watching, and until the next time, have a good one.